Hi everyone, welcome to Cyber Witch, your online resource for spiritual development. I have a lot of questions from people where they see that over the past 15 years that I've been on YouTube, there was a lot of different types of content that I've covered, from the infernal spirits to now a lot of what I talk and teach about is yoga and things that I learn from Vedic texts that I've been studying in my training when I became a yoga teacher. And this is not because I stopped what I was doing before with the Goetia, although I work with it in a different way now, but it has actually helped me get better overall in my magic, my spiritual practice, and my overall connection to the astral realm and my psychic abilities from studying yoga and Vedic scriptures and then applying that knowledge into my background from ceremonial magic and demonic theurgy. So today I want to teach you more about that and help you understand how all of these things work together, because it's super important to understand that our connection to the spirit world is not just through our psychic abilities, but also it is powered by the energies that we have in our body. And taking care of those things is extremely vital to your overall spiritual power and your overall ability to even handle the very often harsh frequencies that come from encountering heavy and intense paranormal things in your work. So the first thing that I wanted to start today's class with is to show you this diagram that comes from the Prana Upanishad, which is a Vedic text. And this shows a diagram of our prana in our bodies. These are the divisions of prana according to the Prana Upanishad. So as you can see, the body is divided up into a whole bunch of different sections that represent the different types of life force energies that we have in our bodies. So the first one is called apana, and that is breathing outwards. So this dwells in the two lower apertures, or the two orifices of excretion in our bodies. It is a downward moving force that is responsible for ejecting waste and for our reproductive functions. Then there is samana, which is the force that distributes the nutrients of food equally throughout the body. It is the power of digestion and assimilation, and it's located in the mid-region of the body. 7 flames issue forth from it, namely the 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and mouth. In other words, it is prana alone which enables the sense organs to function. Food is necessary to sustain the body, but it is prana which causes the food to be assimilated and utilized. Then the Prana Upanishad goes on to say, what we call prana issues out of the mouth and nostrils. It resides in the eyes and ears. In other words, it is manifest in the breath, and it is the animating principle behind the sense organs. The prana common misunderstanding is that prana is associated with breath for 2 reasons: because the life in the body is sustained first and foremost by breathing, and because the bodily prana can be manipulated through pranayama, breath control. Then we get to the next type of prana, which is called vayana, or the aspect of prana which impels the circulatory and nervous systems. The Atman dwells in the heart, and from the physical heart radiates 101 nadis, which is translated variously as arteries, vessels, and nerves. For each of these 100 nerve branches, there are 100 sub-branches, and for each of these, an additional 72,000 branches. Thus, the Vayana permeates and invigorates the entire organism. The fifth and final prana is Udana, which is breathing upwards. This important prana propels the jiva, our soul, out of the physical body at the time of death and conducts it to its next destination. Described here as ascending upward, the Udana is located in the Sushumna, the major nadi, which is located in the spine. The Kundalini, when awakened, is known to ascend the Sushumna in the same way the soul ascends by the power of Udana and exits the body through the crown of the head. So, as you can see, our body is connected into everything else in the universe through these different energies. And the things that we do in our spiritual practice and the way that we live our life and the landscape of our own mind all affects these different types of energies. And this is because everything is connected. Spirituality does not start and end in a ritual. It is your overall experience of your day-to-day life and even your experience of your own body and your own mind, because everything is projected forwards and out of that. So if you are understanding the way that the energies of the body function, then you can also understand how those work when we are trying to access non-ordinary realities. So for example, in that segment that I just read to everyone from the Prasana Upanishad, it mentions pratyahara, our breath control, and so that is going to change the way that our mind is functioning in meditation or even in day-to-day life if we're trying to help calm ourselves down with some slower breathing or doing breathing to help us to gain access into deeper states of meditation, gearing toward union with whatever forces we are seeking to connect with. All of these forces within our body are going to affect how our spiritual practice functions. So if you are understanding the flow of the pranic energies and how you can adjust your life to make them flow in harmony and in a healthy way, your spiritual practice is going to be better. It is going to be more grounded. You will be more rational in the way that you are even approaching things overall. And this takes me to other aspects that they teach in Vedic texts, other aspects of yoga. We were just talking about breathing and how that affects our life force energies. Our mind affects that, especially with the choices that we make. That's a really simple one. So we discuss that there's pranas that are all about our digestion. So obviously, if you're putting things into your body that aren't good for you or are affecting that or making it harder for your body to flow properly because it's getting just all weighted down, then that energy is going to have a harder time flowing. And all of these things work together in harmony. And that digestion has a metaphysical aspect of it. Digestion literally means how we digest things in life. How do we process information? So if you're struggling with your digestive life force in your physical digestion, it's likely that you're struggling to digest things in life, maybe things about your past, things about what you have to deal with, struggling to process that and have a way to handle it and deal with it and work through it. All these things go together, and then that transcends into our spiritual practice, because we are going to have to think about, well, what is driving what we are doing? What is the reasoning behind what we are setting out to do in our spiritual work? A lot of people have been confused because of me posting my Vedic altar that I have, which is what I work with regularly. But it does not mean that I have not also been working with the spirits that I always do. I just really enjoy these ancient texts that come from India, where the people wrote these incredible books that talk about how the energies in our bodies work and how the energies and structure of our mind and mental processes work to unlock all the blockages and have a direct connection between yourself and the spirit in this very tantric way, which is also very much connected to my path is through the left-hand path. And so that is through like the love of the body, all of those things. So this is something that hasn't changed what I do into something else. It has added in things that have helped me become stronger in my spiritual evocation, in my psychic communication, in my work as a tarot reader, in my work in helping people as a teacher for those who get consultation classes from me directly on my website. All of this stuff has helped me to unlock more of the human experience through understanding these ancient yet extremely accurate texts in the classes that I take, and then sharing that with everyone here and all of my students from my background in ceremonial occultism, applying that into this knowledge to think, how can we get better at what we are doing once we understand how our bodies work, how the energies around us have to be balanced by learning about how they function, the way that they affect us, and how to take control over them and causing changes. And this focus on the physical body as its connection to the spirit world is found in so many different traditions, and I really enjoy sharing the gnosis that I've gathered as a yoga teacher with people that are interested in general occultism, because it really does help us to get a better grasp on life, especially when we are dealing with stuff that is super weird, super strange, things that are from other dimensions, because when you are in contact or with other things or doing any kind of intense magic, it's going to affect your energy body, and you have to do work on yourself in a constant way so you will be strong to withstand the forces that you're dealing with. And this is why there's so much sickness and sadness and problems that we find ourselves in, because it's so easy for our energies to become manipulated by reality itself. Especially when you're a psychic person, you are going to be more susceptible to those things, even things that don't even necessarily have anything to do with you, but are just the literal like archonic forces of the universe trying to stop you from seeing through the matrix from the work that you're doing and making things harder for you. So you have to see through that. And a big part of the things in this type of understanding is how our emotions control us. And there's so much to be learned when we study the power of our life force energy, because things that emotionally drain you are draining your life force. And that is very, very important to consider for people that are doing spiritual work. Now, of course, it doesn't mean like if you are in a really bad state that your spiritual work isn't going to be successful. Of course not. I've definitely been at the lowest points of my life and went to my spirits for help, of course. But it will build off of what you have created. So if you want to keep growing and not have life eat away at you and not have those forces that are trying to stop people from being spiritual and have access to thinking clearly in our minds, it's a daily upkeep really of overall health, understanding, and learning, and deep spiritual connection in whatever way that means to you. And so that is really important to think about. Our spiritual energy is literally connected into the energy of our body. And it does not just mean like going to the gym and working out is going to make you spiritually strong. That's just one aspect of your life force energy. You have to think about all the aspects of it that I talked about today, and then it's going to make your spiritual practice stronger because you are actually nourishing your connection to the spirit world that is your very own body that each and every single person has access to. So I hope that you enjoyed today's discussion. Let me know what you thought of what I was talking about today in the comments below. I always appreciate hearing your thoughts. If you would like to reach me for any of my spiritual work as a tarot reader or my online classes and help if you need things like that, it's all linked in the description of this video as a resource for you. Thank you so much to all of my channel members and my patrons. Please do hit subscribe if you're new. It really helps my channel so much. And also please hit like as well. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.